Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day, Rush Limbaugh and the EIB network. Yes, that's right. The Hillary campaign worked with the media in order to set up a phony AstroTurf anti-Trump protest, ostensibly by military people outside Trump Tower. As soon as the Hillary campaign saw the Washington Post's false report, remember, that's what got all this started. Washington Post false report. Trump hasn't raised anywhere near what he's claiming. Trump's exaggerating. Trump hasn't raised $6 million. Trump hasn't donated $6 million. Trump may have raised it. He may be holding on to it. It hasn't arrived at the military charities, blah, blah. That's the story. The Hillary campaign saw that. As soon as they saw it, the Hillary campaign hired a bunch of random mobsters, AstroTurfers, if you will, to pretend to be veterans and to protest in front of Trump Tower. Media knew this. The media knew it was all made up. And in fact, of all places, the Daily Beast, which is not the Daily Caller. Daily Beast would be on the left side of the aisle. Hillary Clinton's camp set up Veterans Against Trump protest. It was a perfect opportunity, it starts, a perfect opportunity to hold the presumptive GOP nominee's feet to the fire for his broken promise to raise $6 million for vets. But this was no spontaneous protest. It seemed like an outpouring of veterans' anger against Donald Trump. Over a dozen former service members protesting outside Trump Tower. But the reality was more complicated. The protest was actually a coordinated effort led in part by the Hillary Clinton campaign to embarrass Trump for his supposedly failed efforts to raise money for the veterans, a claim made by the Washington Post. It only looked like a grassroots demonstration. By the way, this is an exact description of Occupy Wall Street. Occupy Wall Street was totally made up in response to the Tea Party. Made up. Press had knowledge of it. Media had knowledge of it. It was totally made up, made to look like the same kind of spontaneous uprising the Tea Party actually is. A spokesman for the demonstrators insisted they had no affiliation with any campaign. Later, the spokesman said the protesters had reached out to the Clinton campaign for press contacts, but that's all. And then the activist finally admitted that, yeah, the Clinton campaign had helped organize the whole thing. It all started over the weekend after the Washington Post broke the news Trump had not raised the $6 million for veterans groups that he promised earlier this year. It was $5.6 million. The Trump campaign's admission followed months of silence to reporter questions on where the money had gone, since millions had been unaccounted for. The Clinton campaign swiftly organized a conference call for Saturday led by Clinton campaign veterans and military families outreach director Jonathan Murray. According to one of the people on that call, participants were told that the Clinton campaign should not be seen as behind the organizer of the protest. The protest was yesterday outside Trump Tower. Marine veteran Clinton supporter Alexander McCoy served as a spokesman for the demonstrators and went to great lengths to hide the Clinton campaign involvement with organizing the demonstration. Nothing is real anymore. Nothing's real. Nothing is what it seems to be. Everything's managed. Everything's PR. Everything's buzz. Everything. This Trump is not. Trump is better or worse real. There's nothing real about Mrs. Clinton. There is nothing real about her campaign. There's nothing real about these things that are stage managed and produced for public consumption. So, you know, it goes back to this, folks, and it underscores one of the points that I'm making. You know, in every equation, there are two sides. And you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to use my own experiences here as a means of illustrating my point. You know, I occasionally get hit by the drive-by media as well. In fact, recently there have been a couple of things out about how it's all over for me. It's just all over. It's just like it's all over for Apple. It's all over for Apple. It's all over for me. It's just all over for the shouting. And the reason is that despite every effort the left has made to, what's the phrase? Take me out, to minimize me, every effort the left has made has been defeated. They have thrown I don't know how many people up as talk show host competitors, starting with Mario Cuomo, then this guy in Texas, Jim Hightower, and then Gary Hart took a shot at it, and then Air America, an entire network, and none of them exist anymore. And so then others, let's throw some Republicans. Mike Huckabee, and he lasted just a little over a year. The point is, there have been countless efforts to destroy this program, take me out. But they haven't succeeded. And as such, I don't have any real competition. And so the media can't hype competition. They've tried. They've hyped everybody that's been thrown up to wipe me out. And it's all fizzled out. So the only hope they've got is to focus on me, to take me out, to write crap, lies, all kinds of properly unsourced, biased research and so forth. But it's a little different with Trump, although it's somewhat similar. He does have competition. His competition is Hillary Clinton. And they are desperate for her to win, but she can't compete. She can't compete. She's deadly dull walking. You were a dead man walking. She's deadly dull walking. She is a walking, talking embodiment of corruption and phoniness. And the more exposure she gets, the more her poll numbers plunge. The more exposure she gets, the more it's clear she can't put crazy Bernie away. The more exposure Bernie and his insane policies and supporters get, which is a disaster for the Democrats. That's why they put their debates on Saturday nights so nobody would see them. And as a result of all of this, all meaningful spotlight is on Trump by necessity. In terms of media coverage, there's nothing to gain covering Hillary. She is his competitor, but it's like he has no competition. Now, don't misunderstand. He's got competition because there's all kind of people going to vote for anybody with a D next to their name when the election comes. I'm talking about press coverage. I'm talking about the way you and I know that the express purpose of the media is to get Democrats elected to the White House. This year, no exception, although they are conflicted because Trump has meant so much to their bottom line, to their name recognition, to their egos, to their ratings, you name it. They want Trump to always be around, but at the end of the day, they still want Hillary elected. But she can't do it on her own. In terms of media coverage, Trump doesn't have any competition. She is no competition for Trump. If Trump were a radio show and Hillary were a radio show, he would be me and she would be Air America, which is what I mean. So the press is doing exactly to her what they did to Air America. Build them up. Cut down Trump, do everything they can to cut down Trump, build her up, because in their minds the competition is unfair. It's always going to be unfair when the Democrat is seen lacking. So Mrs. Clinton is having all kinds of trouble on her own. Is a disaster for the Democrats. Bernie Sanders is a disaster for the Democrats. They're thanking their lucky stars that debate between Trump and Bernie didn't happen, because had it happened, Bernie would have given away the game. Bernie would have not masked or camouflaged what Democrats really think. Don't doubt me. Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz and the rest of that hierarchy in the Democrat Party are thanking their lucky stars that Bernie-Trump debate never, ever happened. Now, back to Trump for a second. His foibles, his eccentricities, his outrages, his shoot from the hip and let it stick where it sticks behavior. They are the stuff of 24/7 media coverage because he's interesting, he's compelling, he's dramatic, he's a ratings grabber. And B, the drive-bys are invested in Democrats winning. The Democrats in the race are such subpar candidates that ratings go down when coverage of them goes up. In fact, part of Trump's shtick now is to make fun of Hillary's penchant for screeching on the stump. So now every time she's on stage, the only thing people listen for is the screeching because Trump, unlike any other Republican, has pointed it out. And so when she does a presser, that's what people are waiting to hear, not what she says about issues. Well, the drive-bys know this. And they're frustrated. In the media sense, Trump doesn't have any competition. Voting, yes, at the end of the election he does because whoever is the nominee has got a D by their name and is going to get a lot of votes. Please understand what I'm talking about media. I'm talking about the way media deals with Democrats and conservatives and liberals and Republicans and so forth. They view Trump as having no competition in the pop culture media, in the entertainment media, in the day-to-day coverage of the campaign. He's got no competition. They have to be it. They can't just let Hillary go out there and provide it because she doesn't. You know, Trump's now made her into Crooked Hillary and whatever else is going on. And the pictures that now get published of her in her Mao suit going, yeah, you make her look like Kim Jong-un. And then the screeching. Everybody's out there waiting for the screeching to begin. That's what everybody's waiting to hear now. Because Trump has pointed it out to the low information crowd that that's what she does. And wait till Trump sees Clinton cash. I hope there's a plan, a schedule for Trump to sit down and watch Clinton cash. That'll create multiple new lines of attack, legitimate attack on the corruption that is Clinton cash. The money raised, don't forget, $21 million. Figure this out. Here's one of the most boring, dry-balled, dull, uninteresting people in the world getting $21 million in 2 years for making speeches. The world's greatest entertainers don't get that. They don't get anywhere close to that. So what in the world is she getting it for? Why is she getting that much? And what in the name of Sam Hill does she say in these speeches? Well, all of that's what the media has got to somehow find a way to discard, to take out of the occasion. Bottom line, no one really cares what Hillary Clinton is saying because what she says is never interesting. It's only how badly she says it. And she's plainly self-conscious about it, meaning Trump is living rent-free in her head. So the job now is for everybody to explain to everybody else what she stands for, because she's not going to be honest about it. She can't be. She can't be. If she were to be honest about it, she'd have to just literally trounce Obama each and every day on the economy and a number of other things that she can't do being of the same party.